Hello everyone, welcome to DIADEMY IAS. In this session, we are going to discuss a poem, or it's a sonnet written by William Wordsworth. We studied two important poems. That was Lucy poem from William Wordsworth, and this is not a Lucy poem, it's a sonnet. Okay, it's a small poem, and this poem explained about, as usual, natural beauty. But here the theme is that not the nature, that means direct nature, but the poet explains about a bridge, that is Westminster Bridge in England. Okay, Westminster Bridge in England. And one day, William Wordsworth with his sister Dorothy traveled through this bridge to Calais, a place. And during that travel, during that time, it was an early morning time. And Wordsworth sees the bridge and its beauty because the early morning time, and he enjoys the beauty of the city, that is London, the beautiful city London. And that time, poet explains about, or poet imagines some sort of poetical words, and through his poetical words, William Wordsworth explains about the beauty of the city London and the bridge, Westminster Bridge in England. Okay, so that is the theme of the poem, composed upon Westminster Bridge. Okay, so this is the poem included in the UPSC syllabus. We already discussed that we have 60 poems, right? We have 60 poems in UPSC main syllabus, and out of this 60 poems, 40 poems are very simple poems. Okay, so we already studied two important poems, that is 3 years she grew under sun and shower, and second one is she dwelt among the untrodden ways. These are the two poems we already covered. Okay, so let's discuss about this poem. It's a simple poem written by William Wordsworth. And what are the features of this poem when we comparing the other two poems we already discussed? We discussed two Lucy poems. Okay, we discussed two Lucy poems. Already we explained that there are 5 Lucy poems. There are 5 Lucy poems written by William Wordsworth, and out of this 5 Lucy poem, 2 poems in UPSC syllabus. And which are the 2 poems? First one is she dwelt among the untrodden ways. She dwelt among the untrodden ways. And the second poem is 3 years she grew. 3 years she grew under sun and shower. Sun and shower. Okay, so these are the 2 poems in UPSC syllabus, and these 2 poems named as Lucy poems. Okay, these poems named as Lucy poems, right? And here, let's discuss about the difference of these 2 Lucy poems with difference of these two Lucy poem with this poem. And we already explained about what are the features of this Lucy poem. What are the features of this Lucy poem? Okay, so discuss Lucy poem. So we can explain a comparative analysis of these two types of poems in syllabus. And Lucy poem, we have two Lucy poem in UPSC syllabus. Okay, and to these we generalize. We can say in general way we can explain that these two Lucy poem includes some common topics or common theme. Which are the common theme Wordsworth used in these two Lucy poem? That is, the first one is death. Okay, it means 3 years she grew under sun and shower is a Lucy poem, and she dwelt among the untrodden ways is another Lucy poem. And both this poem William Wordsworth explains about death. And second one, in both these poem William Wordsworth was explained about beauty. Okay, and third one, in these two Lucy poem we studied, Wordsworth explains about sorrow. Okay, and the last important point is both these poems William Wordsworth concludes his poems with sadness. Okay, sad ending. Okay, so these are the 4 important points or themes we have to remember considering the Lucy poem in UPSC syllabus. Okay, so now we are discussing about William Wordsworth. We have 9 poems in UPSC main syllabus, optional syllabus. Okay, and out of these 9 poems, 2 poems we already discussed. That poems are Lucy poems. And today we are going to discuss about another poem written by William Wordsworth. The poem is Westminster Bridge. Okay, so why I explain this concept here? Because we can compare the presentation of William Wordsworth in this poem with this poem. Okay, so in order to do that, I explain this concept, this theme here. Okay, so let's start. When considering this poem, Westminster Bridge poem, this poem is explaining about bridge, beauty of bridge. Okay, bridge, beauty of a bridge. That is the theme of this poem. And second one is, this poem explains about a city, the beauty of a city, London. Okay, this poem William Wordsworth explains about the beauty of London and beauty of Westminster Bridge. Okay, England. In short, we can say that this poem William Wordsworth explains about the development and advanced. We know that England is generally, we can say that, a country with advanced technologies. Okay, a lot of developmental process, because we know that whenever we analyze the history of the world history, we can understand that England or Britain is one of the powerful country and the country with highest level of scientific, technical advancement. Okay, so here William Wordsworth indirectly explains about the society of England and with the impact of man-made constructions. Like, what is man-made construction? Man-made construction, we know that man-made construction. What is man-made construction? Man-made construction means buildings, then domes, church, then ships, etc., etc. A lot of bridges. All these are man-made. It's not natural, correct? Bridge, for example, bridge. London Bridge, okay? That is Westminster Bridge. It is not natural. It is not happened through natural thing, because it was man-made construction. So here William Wordsworth explained about the beauty of man-made construction. That is the unique theme in this poem. But when we compare the other poems of William Wordsworth, normally William Wordsworth explains about the beauty of flower, beauty of stars, mountains, valleys, waterfalls, rivers, etc. All these are not man-made. It is natural. Correct? So, in this poem, the feature of this poem or the theme of this poem is, this poem, William Wordsworth explained about the beauty of man-made objects, specifically bridge, buildings, etc. So, this is the theme of this poem. A short poem with 14 lines. We know that sonnet is a poem with 14 lines. Okay? So let's start. First, I will read the entire lines, the whole lines, and after that, we can discuss in detail with 2 lines each. Okay? So first, we can read the poem, the whole poem, in the first round, and the next is each and every lines we will discuss in detail. Okay, so let's start read this poem. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be, soul who could pass by. A single so touching in its majesty, the city now doth like garments wear. The beauty of the morning silent bare, ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie, open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully sleep. In his first splendor, valley, rock, or hill, I never felt a calm so deep. The river glides at his own sweet hill. Dear God, the very houses seems asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Okay, these are the 14 lines of this poem. We already said this poem is a sonnet. So, what are the features of sonnet? From that, we can start. We already said this poem is a sonnet. Then what do you mean by sonnet? Sonnet is a short poem. Okay? So, what is sonnet? What is sonnet? Sonnet is a type of poem. And this poem includes 14 lines. This poem includes 14 lines. Okay. So here this poem is considered as Petrarchian sonnet. Okay. This poem is considered as Petrarchian sonnet. This poem is considered as Petrarchian sonnet, and otherwise known as Italian sonnet. Okay, Italian sonnet. Other name is Italian sonnet. This poem is a Petrarchian sonnet, at the same time an Italian sonnet. Okay, then why this poem is named as Petrarchian sonnet? Because Petrarchian is considered, Petrarch Petrarch is considered as an Italian poet. Okay. Petrarch was an Italian poet. Italian poet. And this poet, Petrarch, played an important role for the development of Petrarchian sonnets. That's why this type of sonnet, that means 14-line sonnets, named as Petrarchian sonnet or Italian sonnet. Italian sonnet. Okay. And this word, what is the word meaning of sonnet? It means that sonetto. Actually, this word is originated from the word sonetto. Sonetto. What is the meaning of this word? The meaning is sound. The meaning is sound. Okay. So, this poem is a Petrarchian sonnet. This poem is named as Petrarchian sonnet or Italian sonnet. What is sonnet? Sonnet means a type of poem or a short poem which includes 14 lines. Okay? And this type of poem generally named as Petrarchian sonnet. Why Petrarchian sonnet? Because in English literature, the name Petrarch, who was an Italian poet, who was considered as a person behind the formation of sonnet literary works in English literature. That's what sonnet, this type of sonnet, named as Petrarchian sonnet. Okay. So these are the important ideas relating with sonnet. And here we can discuss about what are the features of Petrarchian sonnet. What are the features of Petrarchian sonnet? Features of Petrarchian sonnet. Petrarchian sonnet. Okay. What are the features of Petrarchian sonnet? Generally, we said that a sonnet which includes 14 lines. Okay. That's we already discussed. And here, octave and sestet is the two important divisions of Petrarchian sonnet. Okay. Octave and sessets. Octave and sessets. Okay, octave and sessets. Octave and sessets are the two types of divisions in Petrarchian sonnet. Octave means, what is octave and what is sessets? It means that the first 8 lines of the poem is considered as the first 8 lines of the poem. Okay, first 8 lines of the poem is considered as octave, and remaining 6 lines of the poem considered as sessets. So these are the two divisions of Petrarchian sonnet. Okay, so the Petrarchian sonnet can be classified into 2. Mainly we can say that this poem includes 14 lines, and these 14 lines can be divided into 2. First 8 lines and the second 6 lines, and these first lines is called as octave, and the second 6 lines is called as sessets. Okay, so these are the difference. These are the points regarding with Petrarchian sonnet. Okay, then so these are the important points relating with this poem. So we discussed about the introduction of the poem, what this poem means, and we read the lines. 14 lines of the poem is a sonnet, and it is named as a Petrarchian sonnet or Italian sonnet. Why this is called as a Petrarchian sonnet? Because Petrarchian sonnet is a sonnet which originated from Italian type of poetry, and it was also considered as the name Petrarch, who was an Italian poet who played a vital role for the formation or the type of poetry originated in England, that is sonnet. And this Petrarchan sonnet can be classified into two. The first one is octave and second is sessets. What is octave and what is sessets? Octave means the first eight lines of the poem, and the second 6 lines of the poem is sessets. In total, we have 14 lines. That is sonnet. Okay. So this is the poem sonnet. So let's read in detail. And the next important point we have to keep in here, that some sort of a physical comparisons or some sort of a land or a particular place is mentioned here. And the first we have to remember that this poem explaining about England, it's an important point. And second one is this poem explained about a city, London. And this poem explains about the beauty of bridge, Westminster Bridge. Okay, Westminster Bridge. Westminster Bridge, and this bridge in England. Okay, in England. So these are the important points, important themes we have to keep in our mind before we read the poem. Okay, so let's discuss the poem in detail. And next, one more point is, this poem explains about the river Thames. This poem explains about the river Thames. What is Thames? The Thames is an important river in England. It's an important river in England. Okay, and over this Thames there is a bridge. That bridge is named as Westminster Bridge. And the poet William Wordsworth explains about the beauty of the Thames River and the bridge. Okay, so that is the point here we have to remember. So let's discuss in detail. Okay, the first 2 lines of the poem. Let's discuss the first 2 lines of the poem. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by. The first 2 lines of the poem. So here, what is the meaning of the word dull? What is the meaning of the word dull? That means lacking brightness. Okay, lacking brightness is the meaning of the word. And the next word, all words are easy. Okay, earth has not anything to show more fair, dull would be soul who could pass by. What is the meaning of the poem? The poet, the beginning part of the poem, in the first 2 lines of the poem, poet never explains about the beauty. But as usual, the poet starts his lines only. And these 2 poems not mentioning about some unique features, or meaning. So it means that the earth appears as normal. The earth has not anything to show more fair. Okay, the earth, the meaning is the earth is not anything to show more fair. It means that when the poet sees this location, Westminster Bridge in England and Thames River, okay, and when the first 2 lines of the poem, line 1 and line 2, in the first 2 lines of the poem, poet casually says that nothing fair in this. I don't feel anything special in this view. That is the first 2 lines. Okay. Normally, the poet says that the earth is not anything to show more fair. Okay. To show more fair. And The poet says that there is nothing fair in this world. Okay, there is nothing fair in this world. Nothing fair in this world. Nothing fair in this world. Okay, so that the poet says nothing fair in this world. And so here the two lines, easy, no specific idea mentioned. It means that the first two lines of the poem, Wordsworth says that the world is not showing any, not showing specific. That means it's not a not speciality. Okay, it's look like normal. Okay, so that is the first and second lines. Then the third and fourth lines of the poem, the poet says about a sight so touching in its majesty. A sight so touching its majesty. What is majesty? Majesty means impressive beauty, very beautiful, right? Majesty means impressive beauty. Okay, then it means that impressive beauty. So the first two lines, Wordsworth, as usual, explained. So the nature is the background is very normal. But in the third line onwards, poet starts explaining the beauty of the city London and the beauty of Westminster Bridge in England. Okay. So the sight so touching, but poet feel that some touching sights. That means some views are touched poet's mind. Okay, and this city means that the city London. Okay, the city now doth. Here doth means the word doth means do. Doth is an old English word. Doth is an old English word. Do is the new word. Okay. Like a garment wear. It means that the poet says that in this time, so which time? The time is early morning. Okay. The time is early morning, approx about 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Time is 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And this time is an early morning time. And this time the city, London, and the bridge, Westminster Bridge, looks very beautiful. And this beauty is majestic. The word used by the Wordsworth is that the beauty, he explained that this beauty is like majestic. What is majestic? Extreme beauty. Okay? And the poet says that in this early morning time, the city, London, covered with a garment or covered with a cloth. Okay? So it's an imagination, a highly imaginative lines. And the poet says that the city, London, covered with a cloth or garment. So these are the important points in the lines 3 and 4. So from the line 3, William Wordsworth explained about the beauty of Westminster Bridge and the London city. And this is the time is early morning, between 5 a.m., 6 a.m., between this time. And both poet and his sister, poet with his sister, traveled through this bridge. Okay. And they were on the way to Calais. And the poet visualize, or the poet sees the beauty of the city, the early morning city. That means it's very, very, very beautiful. And the poet is called it as majestic, the word majestic. Okay, so this is the meaning of the word sentence or the lines of the poem 3 and 4. And the next one is the beauty of morning, silent, bare, sheaves, towers, domes, theaters, and temples lie. Okay, so what is the meaning of lines 4 and 5? The meaning of the sentence or meaning of the lines 4 to 5. So let's discuss. And here they means that the beauty of the morning. So here the morning time is 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Okay, early morning time. The morning is early. Okay, and that time, the morning is in this early morning time, the city looks silent, and beautiful. Silent and beautiful. And the next word the poet says that bare. Here, bare, we can say that bare means naked. So here the naked means the pure beauty. That means the naked beauty of the city. Okay, naked beauty of the London. Okay, so that is the word bare is used. And next, the poet can see man-made objects. Okay, man-made. What is man-made? Man-made ships, towers, domes, theaters, temples. All these are man-mades. Okay, all these are man-mades. But actually, Wordsworth explains about the natural beauty like flowers, mountains, rivers, etc. But here, poet Wordsworth explains about man-made objects also. What is man-made? That means the objects or things created by men. Okay, so here ships. There are ships in the Thames River. The ships, towers, a lot of buildings are there. Domes. What is domes? Domes means the upper part of a building, especially church like that. Okay, that is domes. Domes means the upper part of a temple or building. That is domes. And the poet says that all these are man-made. All these are man-made. So, at the same time, this buildings, domes, ships, all are outstanding. That means the time is morning. Okay, because the city is silent. The city is silent. It's a beautiful morning time. And all the things in this morning is very beautiful. And the poet says it's majestic also. Okay, so this is the line number 4 to 5. So let's move to the next part. Open unto the fields and the sky, to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. So this line explains about, let's discuss the lines here. It means that, the important poem means that, open unto the field and to the sky. So the poet explains about the beauty of this city and the sky. Okay. Then here, open into the field and the sky. It means the sky is clear now. The sky is clear now, and it looks very beautiful. The sky is very, very clear and beautiful. Okay. Then next one is all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. That means that this is an early morning time and the city is not in rush and people are sleeping. Okay. And all the people it's a resting time. Both William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy only in that place, and they enjoyed the beauty, and the city is silent, calm, quiet. And at the same time, the buildings are closed, factories are closed, and offices are closed, right? So all over the place, we can see the calm and quietness, calm and quiet, silent. It's a beautiful time, according to William Wordsworth. And he says that the city is not in rush. That's why the sky is very clear. Okay, the sky is very clear because smokeless. There is no smoke in the atmosphere. So the sky is very clear, and the poet can see the sky and the buildings and the temples, doors, ships and all. And the sky also very bright and glittering. What is the word meaning of glittering? The word of glittering, it means that glittering means brightening. Okay. Glittering means brightening. Okay, so this is the important points in this lines. And let's move to the next line. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendor, valley, rock, or hill. Okay. So in the next lines of the poem, William Wordsworth the poet praises nature. Okay. Okay, never did sun more beautifully steep. It means that the poet says that it is a beautiful scene. It is a beautiful scene which he ever seen. Okay, which he has ever seen. And the poet says that sun more beautifully steep. So here, in this view, the poet says that the beauty of sun, and the sun is very beautiful. Okay. And according to Wordsworth, today's sun, the presence of sun is special and outstanding. Okay. And in his first splendor, valley, rock, hill, it means that the poet says that the natural features, like a lot of natural features, and valley is a natural feature, rock is a natural feature, hill is a natural feature. Okay. And all these are natural features, and all these appears very beautiful with the presence of sunlight. And the poet says that in this, whenever I see this nature in this bridge, and through this bridge, or in the view of this bridge through the city, the poet says that the sun's beauty. Okay, the sun appears very beautiful today. That is the meaning of this lines. Okay, and he says that the beauty of this sun rising with calm and bright. Okay, so that is the meaning of this line. The next lines. Never so I never felt a calm so deep. Never so. It means that I never saw in this. That means this is the first experience in this planet. According to William Wordsworth, this is an first experience in his life. Okay, actually Wordsworth exaggerating the beauty. Whenever we take the poem of William Wordsworth, we can see this type of words. It's really an exaggerating. That means a type of exaggeration. But for the beauty of the poem, William Wordsworth normally used some sort of exaggerations. And here in this poem, he says that this is the first time he experienced this type of beauty. And he never felt it. A calm so deep. It means that this very calm and quiet. Calm and quiet. It means the city or the bridge is very calm. It's very beautiful. And the river glide at its own sweet will. It means that the river Thames, Thames River, we know that that's an important river in England. And this Westminster Bridge constructed over this river, Thames River. And the poet explains about the river Thames. And this river is glide. What is glide? Glide means flow. Okay. Glide means the poet says that this river, Thames River, glide. That means move with the flow. That is, move with the flow. Okay. Move with a flow. Here, move with a flow means the river is flowing softly, without any rush or without any violence. The river is not violent. It's very calm. And it feels the poet says that the river flowing very smoothly. And it's also improved the beauty of the city. Okay. This river is flowing very calm. This means flowing very slowly. And it also helps to improve the beauty of this city. So that is the meaning of this line. And the last line of the poem. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. And this is the last part of the poem. The poet says, the final two lines of the poem. The poet says that river Thames flowing slowly, and he tries to communicate with the God through his word. The very houses, that means all are sleeping. It means that the beauty of building also. Okay, all the people are sleeping and all the buildings are closed. But its structure is very beautiful. Okay, so that is the meaning of this line. And all that mighty heart is lying still. And that means that people are indoors and sleeping. But the bricks of the building or the construction of the building is very, very beautiful. And people who make it what it is still calm. Okay, people still calm. People still calm. And next is people are indoors. Okay, that means that they are sleeping inside the building, but the wall of the building is very beautiful. Okay, so these are the important meaning of this last two lines of the poem. And here we can revise the two Lucy poems. What's the difference of that two poems with this one? We can say that two poems we already studied in the last classes. That means 3 years she grew and she dwelt among the untrodden ways. Now you can understand that why I said about this poem in the beginning time of the class, or the first time whenever we start the class. Okay, and the meaning is that two poems explains about death, and that poem ends with sadness or explaining about sorrow. But this poem is not like that. This poem starts and end with beautiful sceneries or beautiful explanations. And this poem is not discussing about the sorrow. And this poem explains about the beauty of nature, especially the beauty of city during the morning time, early morning time. Okay, so these are the important meaning of these lines in this sonnet, and this is a sonnet written by William Wordsworth. So now let's quickly revise this poem. This poem is a sonnet. Point number 1. Sonnet means a 14 lines poem. And this poem is considered as a Petrarchan sonnet or Italian sonnet. Why Petrarchan sonnet? Petrarch was an Italian poet and who is considered as a person behind the sonnet. Okay, and this type of Petrarchan poems have two divisions. That is octave and sessets. What is octave? The initial 8 lines of the poem. And the remaining 6 lines of the poem, that is sessets. Okay, so this poem has octave and sesset. And then we discussed about the content of the poem or the theme of the poem. What is the theme of the poem? The theme of the poem is a bridge and the city. The city is London and the bridge is Westminster Bridge in England. Okay, so that we discussed. And next we discussed about these 14 lines one by one. What are the themes or what are the important ideas or imaginations shared through this poem by William Wordsworth? We can say that poet with his sister Dorothy was traveling to a place, okay, and that journey or that time they go through this place. It was an early morning time, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. That is a time mentioned in some literary works. Okay, it's an approximate time. And that time, William Wordsworth enjoys the beauty of the city, London, and specifically the beauty of Thames River. Thames River is a river, important river in England, and over this river there is a bridge that is called Westminster Bridge. So that's why William Wordsworth named this poem as Composed upon the Westminster Bridge. Okay. And the poet explains about the beauty of the city, of the building, like different types of buildings there, ships, temples, domes, etc. All these are explained in this poem. So these are the important imaginary lines used William Wordsworth in this poem. It's a short poem in UPSC syllabus. So these are the important points we are discussed in this class. So see you in the next class. Thank you.